Welcome to our basketball coaching class presented by Basketball Immersion and Lucio Sports, where we provide a platform for top basketball coaches to dive deep into the details. We are excited to have Rice University assistant coach Lakevia Boykin in the basketball coaching class. Boykin is entering her fifth season as assistant coach for Rice women's basketball, having joined the program in 2021 as part of head coach Lindsay Edmonds' inaugural staff. Prior to Rice, she spent 4 seasons at Davidson College as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator. Boykin has played a key role in Rice's recent success, including the program's first ever AAC title in 2024 and a return to the NCAA Tournament, while earning multiple honors such as Silver Waves Media Most Impactful Mid-Major Assistant Coaches and WBCA's 30 Under 30. Kiwi, welcome to the basketball coaching class.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome to have you and all your experience with us to be able to share a little bit. And you're going to share a little bit of practice footage from Rice and just maybe give us an understanding of the program and how long you've been there.
Yeah. Just finished my 4th year here at Rice, going into my 5th year. It's been amazing to say the least. So fortunate to get to work with great people under the leadership of Coach Edmonds. She's built a great program here culturally, really good staff, really smart people, and really good student athletes. Like I said, it's been a dream. Houston is a nice place to be as well. Rice is just top of the top when it comes to pretty much everything. Best of both worlds for sure.
Love that. Love hearing that. And you're going to share a little bit of the transition, a little bit of the blood drills that you guys use to be able to develop your program. So
Yeah.
talk to us about what we're going to see here, and then you can share your video.
Yeah, so we first off, we want to play fast. We want to get out and run. And a lot of times when you hear play fast, we want to make sure we're not being reckless, right? And that our players are able to make good reads and good decisions in a small amount of time, being able to take advantage of the advantages that we get once we're pushing the ball. And we found that in our games, we were getting those advantages, we were getting out in transition, but we weren't able to finish it. And it was because again, players weren't able to make the reads quite that quickly or make the accurate passes that were needed. So we started trying to implement different ways to give them game-like reps. And of course, we do the 3v2 and the 2v1 and all of that. But with this, your window is very small. You have your advantage, and then you have to make quick decisions. So we do 33 blood drill as well as 44 blood drill. And how it works is you can't really see the backcourt here, but it's 2 teams. Player on offense starts at the previous free throw line. There's a coach throwing the ball in the backcourt. The player here in the circle cannot move until she passes half court. You can position your players on offense anywhere you want. They can be positioned anywhere. You can do deep corner. You'll see we'll adjust where they are in different positions. You can have a post player out there, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that ball is thrown in. They can't move, or they're not supposed to move until it crosses half. And from there, they're making decisions, right? So here she makes that read as she comes over. Now we're finding our shooter spotted up, making those passes on time.
So you mentioned changing shapes of the offense. One, talk about how important that is. And then 2, are you constraining the defense in any way? Has the defense got any type of different things that they need to do to be able to help shape the offense, or are you letting them just be free on defense to figure out solutions?
We're letting them pretty much be free with the exception of the person that's in the center circle. So obviously, like I said before, they can't move until they cross. But as far as the defense that are in the front court, they're free to do whatever. And in that way, it's not as scripted, right? So you have to make that read as the person, the primary ball handler coming down. You have to make that read, and you don't know what's coming or how they're going to shape up defensively. I think it also helps, as you will see maybe in the next one, but it helps to see big steps up, we can drop off, or if the ball is being driven towards the big nose, they have to get away in space and get into a space where their teammate can pass to them or they can finish themselves. Yeah, that's pretty much how we do it.
Love it. And changing shapes on offense, that's intentional because
Important that happens in the game, in the flow of the game, right? Whether it's in transition opportunities or whether it's flowing into our secondary, you have to know how to move off the basketball, be in positions where your teammates can make passes to you, whether that's the drift pass, window pass, field behind pass. You have to be ready to shape up and be in a position to receive the ball. Nick helps with that as well.
Love it. Show us a few more clips.
Yeah.
So, how do you rotate in terms of the teams?
So, great question. So, two teams, you have to get two stops in order to get onto offense, right? So, you get two stops, you're able to get on the offense. We do first to seven. So, first to seven. So, if you score seven in a row, then you score seven in a row. But once you hit seven, you have to hit a free throw in order to win the game. If you miss your free throw, you go back to six and the other team gets the basketball. Also, if you turn the ball over, so if you make an errant pass, if whatever the case may be, you lose possession automatically. So the defensive team doesn't have to get the two stops. They'll automatically shift over to offense from there.
Great use of the scoring system too. Is everything worth one, or are you playing regular scoring?
We'll play twos and three. We'll mix it up. We'll play
Yeah,
ones and twos and threes, just depending on how long we want the drill to go and where we are in practice, but mix it up with the scoring piece.
love it.
Yeah. So as you can see here, okay, she has her advantage, big stays, right? So she gets here. Probably the pass is a bounce pass if she can make it, or hitting her teammate here in what we call the window pass, right? So again, when things are a little bit sped up and you're having to make those decisions very quickly, how can, are you able to do that? And I think we've shown growth with being able to do that by making mistakes, right? And turning the ball over, whatever the case may be. But we're able to go back on the back end and see, hey, these were your options. You can drop that pass in for a bounce pass or hit your teammate out for the window because of how sunken in the defense here is sitting on top of the post player.
The game is decision making. Great example here of
Yeah,
a lesson that they're going to learn.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
And this is 3-on-3, and I know you build this to 4-on-4 as well.
We'll build it to 4-on-4. Let's see if it's this good. So now you add another person in, another dynamic, and now it's 4v4. So obviously the spacing is a little bit different. You don't have as much space for those driving lanes, and there's more bodies in front of you plugging those gaps, giving you decisions and reads to make as you're coming down. So here we have four on. Before we had three on, and we just did wings, kind of a block player here or post player here on the block.
Great example of so many teachable situations as well. So give us
For
an
sure.
idea. How do you teach within this drill? You let them explore, and then what are you doing when you have to give a coaching intervention?
Yeah, yeah. We're letting them play, but then the play I showed before, we're talking to them like, is the defense collapsing? Are they sinking into the paint? What do you see? Are you seeing bodies? So once you beat your primary defender, okay, you gain your advantage. All right, how do you maintain that advantage? So is that going to score for yourself because maybe the big doesn't slide over, or most teams are taught not to help strong side, whatever the case may be. You may have a teammate that can really shoot the basketball on your strong side and they're going to stay there. So it's all encompassing with like, all right, first things first, you're going to score, right? You've got your advantage, primary defender, you're past them, going to score. All right, now you're reading that second layer of defense and going from there. And I think in watching a lot of youth basketball and evaluating and all that stuff, you'd be surprised. It seems simple, but players don't automatically make that connection or make that read. You'll see finishing over three bodies when a teammate is wide open for a wide open kick or a field behind pass or whatever the case may be. Yeah, in those moments, we'll definitely stop. And what did you see there? Why did you take that shot? Or a great chance for us to highlight communication. If you're wide open, are you calling your teammate's name? Are you saying window? Are you like, I'm in the drift? Are you talking to each other to ensure that you make the right decisions?
In fact, your old coaching mentor, Gail Fulks, had a quote on the basketball podcast recently to explain
Mhm.
this, where she said, one-on-one, get it done. 1-on-2, it's not for you. And 1-on-3, come sit with me. And I'm sure you've heard that before.
For sure, for sure. Definitely a time or two.
And I know
Yeah,
you
but
nailed that. Like youth basketball, if we could just get youth basketball to understand those three things, the game would be
mhm.
so much better.
It would. And basketball is pretty simple, but that is something that I witness a lot. I'm like, make the paint. You created it. Great job. You got a piece of the paint. Now make the right decision. And I think it's not a lack of want to. Sometimes it's just a lack of not knowing or not having those reps at game speed.
I couldn't agree with you more. And can you just explain it to us how you help shape the high paint decision? Because that seems to be a part of this, is that a lot of players at the youth level and a lot of players I'm sure you coach initially, they get too deep and then they run out of an easy decision instead of making that high paint decision.
For sure. We'll do a lot of in our practices and stuff. We do a lot of this where we're repping, making the like having to read the defense. So my in my opinion, I think the best way is to put them in those situations. So we'll talk through it, we'll watch it on film. But now, okay, once we get out on the floor, you're seeing why I need to make this pitch early. What's the second layer of the defense? So like I said, we do a pretty decent job of putting them through it, whether it's through shooting drills or we do a lot of positional breakdown shooting and just movement off of each other constantly so that we know where our openings are, where we need to be delivering the basketball. But I agree with you, not getting too deep and seeing the big or seeing whoever it is coming over and knowing like as soon as you see chest, make the pass, right? As soon as you see the chest, make the pass and not just test it. I'm gonna see how deep I can get. And now I'm stuck in the pain and I'm pivoting and I'm trying to find, or I'm throwing up a shot that probably isn't a very good shot.
So talk to us in this drill because this is excellent. You can play a few more clips if you wanted to
Mhm.
talk it through it, but talk to us a little bit about what happens on neutral, so to speak. So let's say they drive, they don't create an advantage because the defense somehow recovers,
I did a good
scrambles,
job.
recover. What are you having them do on neutral?
Yeah, so in this situation, it's 4v4. So we would have them get into our space. Like in our secondary, we flow into 4 out 1 in, right? So we rep that anyway. So we would want them being in our spacing the floor, making sure our spacing is good, attacking double gaps, just moving well off the basketball, right? We don't really allow in these situations ball screens when we're doing our breakdown stuff because we want them like having to navigate off ball screens and navigate movement and stuff like that. Yeah, if this becomes neutral, we let them play, right? We let them play and we're ensuring that they again are in great space. They have great spacing on the basketball floor. You
Great stuff. Good point to be able to help us understand how the drill flows and we understand the rotation. And then
Right.
maybe talk to us a little bit about how do you change this? Because this seems to be a platform drill for you guys, meaning you do it quite a bit. What are some other ways other than changing the shape that maybe you do modify this drill to be able to give or to be able to shape different things?
So we can subtract players, right? So we got the 33, we got the 44. We can just do it with 2v2. There's different ways to do it. We have different closeout drills that we'll do as well to modify this. But we typically do this in the preseason, like the beginning of the season. So in your October, early before we get to playing games in November. So we'll load heavy on this type of stuff. And then honestly, as the season goes and gets into it, we don't do it quite as much. It'll be more so like your half court 3v3 closeouts, a little bit less up and down once we start to play.
Coach, small-sided games, big part of your program. Can you help shape a little bit of our understanding of why and maybe some of the other things you do within small-sided games?
Yeah, so like I said before, we'll flow into 4 out 1 in. And I think with small-sided games, you can apply your own rules to it, right? So whatever it is that your team is struggling with or that you want to get better at or want to continue to do well in, you can shape the game in that way. So for us, we emphasize no straight line drives, no deep paint touches. We really struggled last year with fouling late and having late swipe downs and not staying vertical and walled up. We also struggle being in our gaps. We play pack line defense, so we struggle being in our gaps and just like not giving up those straight line drops. So what we'll do in kind of those small sided games is we'll give points for defense only. So a lot of times scoring gets rewarded, but you only score on defense. So if you don't allow a paint touch, you have chest blows, which we emphasize. We want to have chest blows on the perimeter during penetration. If you don't have late swipe downs, we're heavy on the whistle. If you swipe down, we're calling it. You're walling up, you're making them finish over contested hands. If you're in your gap and you're plugging and like you're getting points for these and you're being rewarded for the defensive attributes as opposed to just scoring buckets. And that makes the players like you want to stay on defense, right? You don't want to go to offense because you can't score from there. So we'll do that defensively and we'll also do it on the offensive end as well. Hey, you get extra point if you touch paint on penetration along with whatever you score. Just different ways to manipulate that. And I think it's really good for us.
Yeah, a great example of using constraints, and scoring systems are a constraint that can help shape learning. And I love that example. And maybe quickly show us one of your closeout drills that you wanted to share.
Yeah, let's see. We'll do this is 4 out 1 in or 4 out 4v4 closeout. Everybody will start in the paint. They don't know where the basketball is going. Coach will pass out to a random player. And from there, we're in our stuff. So no on ball screens in this stuff. It's all off ball. It's all communication. It's all having to talk. See here, she's plugged pretty well in her gap here. We don't want to ever help strong side, but she releases once she see that ball gets picked up, allows the primary defender to get back in front. Shot goes up, she hits the shot, but that's something that we've been talking about, being in your gap and not giving up those straight line drives.
So live on the catch,
Live,
any other things that the offense must do or must not do?
yeah, those are the main things. Just no ball screens on that stuff. We just want practicing and they can be in our 4 out. So we like to stagger away, pin downs, all of that stuff. A single ball or single pin downs. We'll do some of that as well. And then 3v3 closeouts, which I'm sure you've seen. But this really helps with the decision making on the catch, right? So they're coming from an advantage. We're on the catch. You're either shooting it if they're short on the closeout, you're driving it, you're finding it's working on attacking those double gaps that we want to have when we're in our secondary. It's also emphasizing, like I said before, when you're closing out, who are you closing out to? So this is something I took from when I was a player at Wake. We used 0 gap, 1 gap, 2 gaps. Here we do spaces, but 0 space, that's a shooter, right? That's somebody you want to be there. They want to shoot the 3. We want to run them off the line. 1 space, they can do both. So you have to be under control. You have your high hand, all that good stuff. And then 2 space, they can't really shoot that well. They want to put the ball on the floor so we can be a little shorter with our closeout. So those are the things also that when you're on defense, you're having to think about. And when you're on offense, you're making a read. How are they guarding me? What's my next move to gain an advantage? So
Love it. Love it. Love how all this connects together. You're trying to create advantage and keep
yeah,
advantage and be able to play out advantage. But obviously, always it's two-way coaching as well because the defense is trying to counter that. Great
absolutely.
examples of how you guys practice and how you guys have obviously improved your program and had great success.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Awesome stuff. Really good presentation and player to coach transition, and now multiple years in your coaching career. Reflecting back on when you started in coaching, maybe help some coaches that are listening understand maybe some of the things that have helped you the most in terms of your development as a coach, aspiring to be a future head coach.
Yes, just being a sponge, right? Being a sponge. Like I said before, I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of really smart people and a lot of people that have poured into me and have poured into the game and have poured into their student athletes. And being a sponge, not being afraid to ask questions and continuing to learn, right? Like it's never ending. We're always learning, always trying to find new information, always trying to find ways to get better, right? Better to be better in order to serve our players, in order to help them achieve their goals. And I think that's what it's all about. It's about servanthood and giving all you can. So that would be the thing is be a sponge, continue to learn, continue to try to get better and just give back in any way that you can.
That's awesome. It's wonderful to be able to have you share the game with us. And we look forward to watching your career at Rice and beyond as you continue your coaching journey. Thank you for sharing the game with us.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. A lot of fun.
Thanks for watching the Basketball Coach Class. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And check out luciosports.com and basketballimmersion.com today.